And a good Friday afternoon to you. Welcome into NewsNation. Now I am Aaron Nolan. Security has been increased in Washington, D.C. a week and a half after riots at the Capitol and just a few days until the inauguration of Joe Biden. Kelly Meyer recently did a story on the security there in Washington, D.C. She's already experienced this today firsthand walking around D.C. Kelly joins us live from the White House. Kelly, kind of walk us through what you expected to happen when you were walking around Washington with the security and what you actually experienced over the last hour.
Yeah, and it's been changing day to day and only increasing the closer we get to Inauguration Day. Let me slide over here, make sure I'm in that spot. As I was grabbing the Uber to come here to the White House to shoot our stand-up for the story airing tonight, I had to get out blocks away from where I got out on Monday. I was able to get pretty much right up to where the entrance to the White House is here and come over and go through security. But now it's backed up blocks away. Barricades, stone barricades blocking cars from getting in. There are tents getting set up, fencing getting set up. So it was definitely a couple blocks. I had to walk over here and then go through security to get in here at the White House. But the grounds here are relatively quiet. They've been coming in and out of the door here. There's the Marine standing guards. That means that President Trump is here in the West Wing. But we saw yesterday they were moving things out. Moving trucks were here, packing things up, putting them in boxes. And then also to my right, they have the stage set up for the Biden inauguration ceremony, a viewing platform there with flags hanging from it saying 2021 Biden-Harris Inauguration Day.
Kelly, you spoke yesterday with Representative Dusty Johnson, a Republican out of South Dakota, and he says, I think this is probably the safest place in the country to be right now. From everything that you're seeing, do you think that this is reactionary from what we saw a week, 2 weeks ago Wednesday, a week and a half ago, or reactionary to what's coming this Wednesday?
A little bit of both, because they would normally put these kind of precautions in place a day or two before, but they are putting these precautions in place now a week out, and I believe they are much stronger than they were or would be in normal circumstances. Not only do we have the security threats for protests this weekend or potentially next week, but then you're also having the pandemic, so they're saying people should stay away because of that. That was the initial, closing of certain things here, moving it virtually, but now with the security aspect on top of it. And then they also said that they're going to be closing the National Mall, so that will discourage people from coming outside and also close it for safety. But I can tell you, you can't even get there at this point if you wanted to. It is completely locked down in our nation's capital, and the security only continues to grow. I know the number of National Guard troops right now is about 6,000 to 7,000. It could increase to 10,000 by this weekend, and then more than 20,000 by Inauguration Day.
Kelly, talk to us a little bit about what is going on there at the White House. There has been a report that President Trump plans to leave the White House, to vacate the White House early on Wednesday morning before the inauguration. We hear commotion behind you. What is going on there at the White House in preparations for what is a shift of ownership, at least a shift of residency there at 1600 Pennsylvania?
Yeah, like you said, we are hearing that he's set to leave, and the AP confirming that he's set to leave Wednesday morning to head out to Florida. And I know we talked about it a little bit yesterday if Vice President Mike Pence will be here, as we were talking about the handing over the keys or who will be here to meet them. And it sounds as though Pence will be doing all of that. I saw reports that he has already called Vice President-elect Kamala Harris and offered some advice, which is not what we've seen from President Trump doing for Biden. But yeah, you can hear the trucks going by outside, just kind of setting up the stage, as I was mentioning. I might be able to show you a little bit of it if I flip this around. I could try.
Sure, let's give it a shot, Kelly. I like it.
So if you could see in the distance from where I'm standing, so this is Pebble Beach where the reporters come and do their stand-up. So out there is the stage they're setting up. They'll have signs on it for the Biden-Harris inauguration. And then, of course, here at the White House. And then you have the Marine standing here outside, which I don't know if you could see, of the West Wing. And that means that the president is here in office or working inside, as he mentioned in his statement, which we have confirmed that he does write those more recently himself, those White House schedules you see of his daily schedule, because they are pretty much moving out here. I mean, staff is starting to leave. I'm hopefully going to catch up with some of the staff here in the coming days just to grab a coffee and say farewell. But they've been pretty much busy packing up and moving out.
Kelly, I know you've got to get to work. I got two more questions for you before you leave the White House and make it over to finish up your story. The first is the FBI saying credible sources say that there could be more protests over the weekend. And then, of course, once again on Wednesday, what are you hearing from the White House? What are you hearing there in Washington as far as the possibility of protests? And then, of course, there's that thought process that those protests then turn a little bit more violent and then become riots.
Well, we did see that Vice President Mike Pence was briefed on this possible inauguration safety and security yesterday at FEMA. And then obviously we had the video address from President Trump urging his supporters not to create any more violence, to stop any violence. And I did actually just get off a call with South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, one of his close friends, close allies. He said that he was happy that the president put out that video. He did say it was a bit late, but he did say that tone was exactly what we need, and he's hoping that there are no more protests either here or in other capitals, state capitals across the country. But they definitely are prepared if something happens. As I mentioned, they are very secure, very much huge presence of National Guard troops and security, Secret Service here, obviously at the White House. So they definitely are ready, and I'm sure in many more ways than we realize behind the scenes.
All right, Kelly, now tell us your personal story of how safe you felt walking around Washington. Of course, the images of 10 days ago on that Wednesday at the Capitol riots still are on all of our minds. But as you walked through this increase of security, how did you personally feel about your safety and about the need for what you saw?
Yeah, I mean, I do feel safe seeing this added presence, especially, like you said, after what we saw last week on January 6th, just that unprecedented attack and not having enough troops here and enough police and security, and now to see an overwhelming support from our men and women in law enforcement and the National Guard troops, federal agencies all coming together, over 200 agencies, I believe FEMA had said, the FEMA Administrator Gaynor said yesterday. So I do feel secure, and I do believe they have a plan and many plans in place. It's going to be a very intense week coming up in our nation's capital. Yep. Obviously a very important day and historic, so hopefully they can focus on this transition of power. I know that's what this administration, what Vice President Mike Pence said yesterday, he wants a peaceful transition. Hopefully that's what we see next Wednesday.
Kelly Meyer reporting for us out of Washington, D.C. Kelly, I appreciate you taking the time there from the White House.
Thank you so much.
All right, Kelly, you got to go do a story now, so we're going to let her go do that, and we're going to continue to follow everything that is happening in Washington. We're going to promise you unbiased coverage of any protests that might break out over the weekend. We also have a special coming up on Inauguration Day, so keep it right here on NewsNation. And, of course, WGN America. And if you don't know how to get WGN America and you haven't heard about NewsNation, go to newsnationnow.com. On the right-hand corner, enter your zip code. We'll show you a channel guide, and then you just choose your provider. You can watch us each and every night. It's 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock Central on WGN America. 3 hours of news from around the country, unbiased news. We're not going to try to steer you to the left or the right. That is our mission, and we promise we'll continue to do that for you. In the meantime, join us on all our social media channels. It is at NewsNation Now. Have a fantastic Friday. I'm Aaron Nolan.